Let's start our class in whatever position you feel is most comfortable for you. You could choose to sit or you could lay down, either on your back or on your side. Choosing a position that allows you to feel connected with the ground and allows you to feel stable. Once you've chosen that shape, maybe taking a moment to close your eyes. Soften the muscles of the face, allow your shoulders to relax. And scan through the body. Notice every place where you touch down on the ground or on some other kind of surface. And at each one of those points of contact, allow yourself to get a bit heavier, settling into that support that's beneath you. Finding a deeper sense of grounding. And using that support to allow yourself to find ease throughout the body. If you notice any areas where you're holding tension, consciously letting that go. Visualizing your muscles softening and releasing. And once you feel settled in the shape you've chosen, we'll turn our awareness to our breathing. Noticing how your body feels as you inhale and exhale. Noticing the path that the breath travels on as it enters and exits the body. Maybe taking the time to visualize the path that the breath travels, following each inhale all the way down. And each exhale all the way back up. And as you travel along that path, notice the movements that occur with that breathing. Maybe as the breath enters the body, you feel a change in the muscles of the throat. Maybe you feel your shoulders lift or your chest expand, your belly rises. Maybe you notice you sit a little taller as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, follow that breath back up and out. And again, notice any changes, any movements in the body. And continuing to remain aware of the breath, we'll start to invite a little bit of movement back into the body. Gently wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Maybe circling wrists and circling ankles. Turning your head from side to side. Bringing the body back to stillness at center. If you are laying on your back, taking a moment to draw your knees into your chest and roll over onto whichever side of the body you prefer. Allow yourself a moment of rest there, and then slowly make your way up to a seated position when you're ready. You can choose whatever shape you'd like. You could sit on a prop or you can sit directly on the ground. You can even sit on some furniture if you have something handy. We'll sit up nice and tall, draw the lower belly in, soften shoulders down. We'll drop the chin down towards the chest and slowly roll the chin over towards one shoulder. Go back down through center and over to the other side. Taking your time, feeling free to pause if there's any one spot that you want to stretch for a little bit longer. And notice if your awareness has shifted from your breathing. Even as you start to move, try to maintain that awareness of how the breath is traveling through the body. Allow yourself to take full, complete inhales and exhales. And let's bring the head back to stillness at center. From here as we inhale, let's take both hands up overhead. We'll interlace the fingers, turn the palms up towards the ceiling, and then as we exhale, we'll draw those hands down in front of us. Maybe noticing a bit of a stretch through the palms or through the wrists. Releasing at the bottom, and then inhaling, reaching up once again. Interlacing those fingers, turning the palms out, and exhaling as you move the hands down. Taking your time and finding a way to match your movement with your breath. So as you reach the top of your inhale, your hands are joining together at the top. And as you reach the bottom of your exhale, your hands are releasing at the bottom. And as you continue to move, notice any sensations that come with this movement. Maybe as your hands travel down, you notice that you spread your shoulder blades and there's a little bit of a stretch between the shoulders. Maybe as you reach up, you notice some sensation along the sides of your body. Really taking your time and tuning in. And the next time the hands come up to the top, we'll pause there. We'll release the left hand down onto the ground and extend the right arm up and over, lengthening all along the right side of the body. Continuing to anchor down through the right hip. If you notice your right shoulder dipping forward, see if you can draw it back so that your shoulders are in line with your hips. And if it's comfortable on your neck, you could look up towards the ceiling. If it's not comfortable to have your neck turned, you can also look forward or down, whatever works for you. As we inhale, we'll lengthen that right hand up, and as we exhale, maybe fold a little bit deeper, bending through the left elbow. Good, we'll release, coming all the way back up to center, inhaling. And then exhaling, dropping the right hand down, extending the left arm up and over. Once again, taking a moment to ground through the left hip. Roll that left shoulder back if it's leaning forward. Choose your focal point. And then inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Good, we'll release, coming all the way back up. And from here, let's make our way up onto our hands and our knees, finding a tabletop shape. Allowing the wrists to stack under the shoulders and knees under the hips. We'll spread the fingers nice and wide, press down into each of the fingertips. Toes can be flat on the floor, or you can tuck them under for stability. And we'll find a neutral spine by pressing the floor away, gently drawing the low belly in and gazing straight down. From here, we'll move through cat and cow. As we inhale, we'll drop the belly down, draw the shoulders back, and look forward for cow pose. And as we exhale, we'll round the spine, spread the shoulders, and look back to the knees for cat pose. Taking your time, alternating between these two. Once again, matching your movement with your breath. then you can continue to move just through cat and cow if that feels good for you. If you'd like to add in a little bit of extra movement, we'll take the knees a little bit wider apart, make sure the toes are untucked. As we inhale, we'll move into cow pose, drawing the shoulders back, looking forward. As we exhale, we'll round the spine, and then start to sit the hips back towards the heels, coming into child's pose. As we inhale, we'll bend the elbows, draw the body forward, bring the chest through the forearms, and then press up into cow. And we'll exhale, rounding the spine, moving through cat to child's pose. Inhaling forward and up to cow. And continuing again at your own pace. Matching movement with breath. Noticing how each part of the movement feels for you. Noticing any resistance in the body. Any sensation that feels good. And we'll come back to a neutral spine. If you haven't already, take your knees a little bit wider, untuck the toes, and we'll settle back into a child's pose. Allowing the hips to rest on the heels or as close as you comfortably can get them. We'll allow the upper body to recline down. You can bend through your elbows and let your forearms lay softly on the ground, or you can extend your fingertips forward, using the opportunity to stretch a little bit more along the sides of the body, anchoring the hips down and back. If you are taking the more active version of the pose, as you inhale, extend your fingertips forward. As you exhale, soften your hips down and back. And if you are taking the more passive variation of the pose, allow yourself to soften with each exhale. Find a deeper connection with the ground. Let yourself get a little bit heavier. Taking one or two more slow, deep breaths here. And then we'll make our way back up to our tabletop, bringing the knees back under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. We'll grip down through each of the fingertips and the tips of the thumbs. Let's tuck the toes under, and then we'll lift the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Taking a moment to adjust your stance if you need to. You can move your feet further away from your hands if that's more comfortable for you. You can choose if you want to pedal out, bending through knees and ankles. And keep pressing the floor, lifting the hips up and back. If you are pedaling, we'll bring the legs back to stillness. We'll find a little bit of a bend in the knees. Gaze forward. And on an exhale, we'll either walk or step to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart or a little bit closer. Knees remain slightly bent. Let the belly rest on the thighs and allow the head to hang heavy. You can choose to keep your hands resting on the ground. You can rest them somewhere on your legs. You could take hold of opposite elbows. And take a moment to allow the spine to decompress. Be nodding the head yes, or shaking the head no, releasing the neck. And then we'll allow the hands to come back down towards the ground. As we inhale, we'll straighten the legs, straighten the spine, bring hands to rest on the shins. Find a position where the spine is parallel with the ground. And gaze straight down towards the floor for half back. As we exhale, we'll bend the knees and fold. And as we inhale, we'll bend the knees even deeper, sit the hips down and back. Sweep the arms out in front and up overhead, coming up into chair pose. So knees remain bent, hips are low. Looking down and seeing if you can see your toes past your knees. If not, see if you can shift back a little bit. Have your weight in your heels. Hands can be shoulder distance apart, or you can join them together, either gazing straight ahead or up towards your hands. Let's take a nice deep breath in here. And then as we exhale, we'll come all the way up to standing, releasing arms down at the sides. Taking a moment to find a comfortable mountain pose, anchoring down through the balls of the feet and the heels, allowing for a little bit of a lift through the inner arches, softening shoulders down and back, spreading fingers nice and wide, palms can face towards the front. As we inhale, we'll lengthen, lifting up through the crown of the head. And as we exhale, we'll ground down, breathing slowly in and slowly out. Really taking a moment to anchor in that sensation of breath. And then we'll start to move once again. As we inhale, we'll sweep the arms forward and up, sitting the hips down and back through chair pose. As we exhale, we'll fold forward, allowing the belly to connect with the thighs, head to hang heavy. We'll inhale for half back, bringing hands to shins. Exhale, drop the hands down. We'll step the right foot back behind us. Heel stays lifted. Toes are tucked under. We'll press back through that right heel. Transfer a little bit more weight back so we get lighter on our fingertips. Left knee stays stacking over left ankle as we come all the way up, reaching hands up overhead for high lunge. Once again, pressing back through the right heel, making that right leg nice and active. Lunging into the left knee and lifting up out of the hips as you inhale. Taking a nice deep breath in, reaching. And then as we exhale, we'll drop the hands back down, step back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll inhale, bending the knees, looking forward. As we exhale, we'll step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Let's inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. And as we inhale, we'll move through chair pose, dropping the hips down, lifting hands up high. We'll exhale, making our way to standing. Good, inhaling again, moving to chair pose. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale for half back. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. This time we'll step the left foot back behind us. Keeping the left heel lifted, right knee stacking over right ankle. Getting lighter on the fingertips as we transfer more weight back. And we'll inhale, coming all the way up, reaching hands up overhead, finding a focal point out in front of you. Continuing to engage through the left leg. We'll inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, drop the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. As we inhale, we'll bend the knees, looking forward. As we exhale, stepping to the top of the mat. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling to fold. We'll inhale, coming through chair pose. Hips stay low, legs are really engaged. And exhale all the way up to standing. Good, we'll do that again, changing it up a little bit. Inhaling, lifting up, sinking the hips down. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands, step the right foot back behind us. This time we'll land the right foot on a 45-degree angle. So the heel is planted, right toes point towards the top right corner of the mat. And we're setting up for warrior one. As we inhale, we'll come all the way up, reaching arms up overhead. Again, maybe joining the palms together. Keep lunging into the left knee. Take a nice deep breath in, lift up. And then exhale, drop the hands down. We'll step back to downward facing dog. As we inhale here, we'll bend the knees, looking forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, drop the hips down, sweep the arms out in front, chair pose. And exhale all the way up to standing. Other side, inhaling, reaching up, dropping the hips down. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands. We'll step the left foot back behind us, dropping that heel down. Toes point towards the top left corner of the mat. We'll inhale, coming all the way up, warrior one. Arms extend up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, reach up. And exhale, drop the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, bending the knees, looking forward. Exhale to the top of the mat. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. And exhale, rise up. Pausing for a moment. Finding a strong, steady mountain pose. Rooting down. Allowing yourself to reconnect with your breath. Noticing as it sped up, as it become more shallow. Let's see if you can bring it back to a slow, steady inhale and exhale. With each inhale, lengthening the body, lifting up through the crown of the head. And with each exhale, rooting down through the feet, finding grounding. Good. When you're ready, we'll inhale, sink the hips down, lift the hands high. Exhale, fold forward. Let's inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, step the right foot back. This time we're going to turn that foot out on a 90-degree angle, so the toes point towards the side of the room. Heel is anchored down. As we inhale, we'll sweep the right arm up and back and extend the left arm out in front of us, setting up for warrior two. So the stance is usually a little bit wider in warrior two. Bending the left knee over left ankle, opening that left knee out to the side. Stacking shoulders over hips and extending the arms out nice and wide. Finding some energy through the fingers and gazing over the left hand. As we inhale, let's drop the right hand, turn the left palm up and reach up overhead for exalted warrior, lengthening the whole left side of the body. We'll exhale back to warrior two. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Last one, inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, we'll windmill the hands down to the floor, turn the right toes forward and step back, downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep breath in, looking forward, bending the knees. Exhaling, we'll step to the top of the mat. Let's inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sink the hips down, raise the hands up, chair pose. And exhale to standing. Again, inhaling, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling, folding, we'll plant the hands, step the left foot back, turning those left toes out to the side, planting the heel down. On an inhale, we'll sweep the left arm up and back as the right arm extends forward. Finding that distance between your legs that feels comfortable for you. Opening that right knee out to the side as you lunge into the right leg. Draw the shoulder blades together as you spread the fingers wide. And gaze over the right hand. As we inhale, drop the left hand, extend the right arm up overhead. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Shifting your gaze to follow your right hand, inhaling up. Exhaling, we'll windmill the hands down to the ground, turn the left toes forward, and step back to downward facing dog. As we inhale, we'll bend the knees looking ahead. Exhaling to the top of the mat. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale for chair pose. Drop the hips, lift the hands. And exhale all the way up to standing. Continuing on, inhaling through chair pose, dropping the hips. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands. We'll step the right foot back again, turning the toes out on that 90-degree angle. We'll inhale, coming all the way up into our warrior two. From here, let's start to straighten out through the left leg, keeping a micro bend in the knee. So we don't want to lock the knee. We want a slight bend there for stability. Let's shift the hips back. We'll shift the left hand forward and then drop that left hand down, reaching the right hand high, coming into triangle pose. So allow the left hand to rest wherever it's comfortable. Maybe it comes all the way down to the ground. Maybe it rests on your shin. If you have a block handy, you could use a block. And you can either gaze down towards your left fingertips or up towards your right, working towards stacking the shoulders. Breathing in, reaching up, finding space. Breathing out, softening, anchoring down through the feet. With the next inhale, we'll bend the left knee, come all the way back up to warrior two. As we exhale, we'll windmill the hands down to the ground, step back. Inhale, bending the knees, looking forward. Exhale to the top of the mat. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale for chair pose, drop the hips, lift the hands. And exhale all the way up to standing. Other side, let's inhale, reaching up, dropping down. Exhaling, folding forward. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands. We'll step the left foot back, toes open out on a 90-degree angle. We'll inhale, coming all the way up to our warrior two. From here, we'll start to straighten out through the right leg. Shift the left hip back, shift the right hand forward, and then drop the right hand down, extend the left arm high. As we breathe in, we'll lift up, and as we breathe out, we'll anchor down through the feet. See if you can find a little bit of a lift through the inner arches. So we're rooting down through the ball of the foot and the heel, just as we did in our mountain pose. One more nice deep breath in and out. And then we'll inhale, bending through the right knee, coming all the way back up. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, bending the knees, looking forward. Exhale, our way to the top of the mat. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling to fold. We'll inhale, coming all the way up, chair pose. And exhale to standing. From here, let's make our way towards the back of our mat. And we'll take a moment to anchor down equally through both feet. We'll find something in front of us that's not moving that we can look at. And we'll bring our hands onto our hips. Allowing your breath to slow, become steady. Allowing your gaze to soften. We'll shift our weight over onto our left foot. And we'll take a big step forward with the right foot. And as you connect with the right foot, again, notice how the weight transfers. Feel that connection between the heel, the ball of the foot. Keep a little bit of a bend in the right knee. Get lighter and lighter on the left toes until eventually the left toes lift. Maybe just slightly off the ground, or maybe quite a bit off the ground. If you do get your left toes lifted, we're going to flex that left ankle. Try to keep your hips level. So the tendency here is to let the left hip open up to the side. We want to try to keep it facing forward. And then at the same rate as you lift your left leg, lean forward. Working towards finding parallel with the ground. You can choose to leave your hands on your hips. You can bring them together in front of your heart, or you can extend them out in front of you or behind you. Warrior three. Breathing slow and steady in through the nose, out through the nose. And then we'll come all the way back up to standing release. Take a moment to roll through wrists, roll through ankles. And then we'll come back to the back of the mat once again. Just as we did before, finding that grounding, finding a focal point out in front of you. Bringing hands onto hips. Allowing the breath to slow and the gaze to soften. And when you're ready, we'll start to shift our weight over into our right foot. And being mindful of the transition, we'll take a big step forward with the left foot. Notice how you connect. Start to shift the weight into the left foot as the right foot gets lighter and lighter. And maybe lift those right toes up off the ground if you do, flexing at the ankles so there's energy through that leg. Keep the hips facing forward. Maybe shift your gaze down. And then at the same rate as you lift your right leg, lower your torso. Keeping the hips level. You can really leave your hands resting on your hips. You can bring them together in front of your heart. You can extend them out front or back. Breathing in and out. Feeling strong and steady. And then we'll release, coming back to standing. Rolling out through wrists. Rolling out through ankles. And we have one more balancing pose. We'll start with the arms on this one. So finding some stable footing. And then taking the left arm across the front of the body, we'll bring the inside of the right hand or inside of the right elbow around that left elbow. If that feels like a good stretch for you, you can stay as you are. If you would like something a little bit deeper, you can bring your elbows back towards the midline of the body and wrap the forearms around one another. So either the backs of the hands come to touch or the palms come to touch. If you are taking the bind, that is bringing your arms back in front of your body. See if you can soften your shoulders down as you lift your elbows a little bit higher, going only as far as you're comfortable. Once you've found a position that works for you, we'll start to shift our weight over into our left foot, bringing a little bit of a bend into the left knee, and start to sink down as though you were going into your chair pose just on one leg. Once you find a decent depth, you can lift your right foot up, cross the right knee over the left. You can allow your right toes to touch down on the floor, or if you're able, you can wrap them around the back of your left leg. Continue to sink the hips down, lift the elbows up, and focus on something in front of you that's not moving. Let your breath stay steady. Pausing for a moment in eagle pose. And then we'll release, step the right foot down, reach the hands up high. And exhale, hands down to heart center. So release the hands at the sides. Once again, we'll take a moment to ground down. And from here, we'll take the opposite arm across the front of the body, wrapping either the inside of the left hand or inside of the left elbow around the right elbow. You can choose to stay here, extending your right fingertips towards the left side. Or again, if you'd like, you can bring your elbows towards the midline of the body and wrap the forearms around one another. Either bringing the backs of the hands to touch or the palms to touch. Whichever option you've chosen, letting your shoulders soften down. If your arms are in the bind, you can play with lifting your elbows a little bit higher if that's comfortable for you. And once you've found something that works, taking a moment to find your focal point, your drishti. We'll shift the weight over into the right foot, bringing a little bit of a bend into the right knee, sinking down as though you were about to go into your chair pose. And once you've reached a comfortable depth, try lifting the left leg and crossing that left knee over the right. You can have your left toes resting down on the floor for stability. Or if it's comfortable for you, maybe sink a little bit lower, wrap those toes around the back of the right leg. Sinking the hips down, gradually lifting the elbows up, resting in Garudasana, eagle pose. One more inhale and exhale here. And then we'll inhale, stepping down and reaching up. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's step back up to the top of the mat. And from here, when you're ready, we'll inhale, sinking the hips down, reaching hands up high for chair pose. Let's exhale, folding forward. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to full plant the hands. We'll step back into plank pose. Let's lower the knees down onto the ground. Keep the elbows in close to the body. And lower halfway down, chaturanga. As we inhale, we'll untuck the toes. Shift the weight forward into the hands. Press the chest forward and gaze up. And then as we exhale, we'll tuck the toes under, shift the hips back, and then lift up into downward facing dog. As we inhale, we'll bend the knees looking forward. Exhale, making our way into a forward fold at the top of our mat. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale all the way up to standing. Good, we'll do that again. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, step back to plank. Choosing to place the knees down or leave them lifted, we'll lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, shift forward, facing dog. And exhale all the way back to downward facing dog. As we inhale, we'll bend the knees looking forward. Exhale to the top of the mat. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale for chair pose. Rise up. And exhale, release the hands down, come all the way up to standing. Last time, let's inhale, chair pose. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands, stepping back, either lowering the knees down or leaving them lifted. We'll lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing dog. And exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. From here, let's drop the knees down. Untuck the toes and sit the hips back to the heels. Coming into child's pose, just as we did at the start of the class. An option to take a more passive variation with elbows bent, upper body relaxing. Or a more active variation, fingertips extending forward, really reaching. Lengthening the sides of the body. As we inhale, creating some space, maybe noticing expansion along the back of the ribcage. And as we exhale, softening and settling down, releasing the hips down, getting heavier on the If you were taking a more passive variation, taking a moment to extend your arms out in front, we'll start to walk our hands over towards the left side of the mat, keeping the right hip anchored down, nice and heavy, lengthening all along the right side of the body. And then we'll switch sides, walking the hands over towards the right side of the mat, lengthening the left side of the body. Let's come all the way back to center, and we'll make our way up to a seated position or kneeling position. Bring the knees together, shift the hips over to one side and extend the feet out in front of us. Making sure you have enough space behind you to lay down. And then coming all the way down onto the mat. We'll draw the knees in towards the chest, rocking gently from side to side. Noticing as you rock how different parts of the body make a deeper contact with the ground as your weight shifts from side to side. Noticing any sensation through the hips and the legs. Bring it back to stillness at center. Let's place the left foot down onto the ground and we'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. We'll flex at that right ankle so the toes draw back towards the shin, and then we'll press the right knee away from the body. If you already feel a stretch in your other right hip or your glute, you can stay here. If you don't feel it just yet and you'd like to move a little bit deeper, you can lift your left foot off the ground, spread your right hand in between your legs and wrap both hands around the back of the left hamstrings. Gently drawing the left knee in towards the body as you press the right knee away. Let your shoulders and your head remain soft and heavy on the ground. One or two more deep breaths on this side. And then we'll release, placing the left foot down, right foot down beside it, and then switching, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh, flexing at the left ankle, pressing that left knee away. Choosing to stay here if this already feels like a good stretch for you. Or perhaps lifting the right foot off the ground, threading the left hand in between the legs and wrapping both hands around the back of the right hamstring. Continue to work that left knee away from the body as you draw the right knee in. Maybe notice any differences that you feel from one side to the other. One or two more deep breaths on this side. We'll release the hands, placing the right foot down, left foot down beside it. Bring those feet in nice and close and allow the knees to fall open to the sides, so the bottoms of the feet join together. If it's uncomfortable to have your legs all the way open unsupported, you can place a block or a cushion underneath of each knee, or if you don't have anything handy, you can roll your hands into a ball and place one under each thigh near where the leg meets the hip. Takes a little bit of pressure off the muscles along the inner thighs and off the joints, knees, the ankles, the hips. You can choose if you'd like to close your eyes, allow your jaw to soften. Taking a few slow, steady breaths here. Allowing yourself to gradually get a bit heavier, letting the knees get lower, connecting with the ground more deeply through the shoulders and the hips. When you're ready, slowly draw the knees back up towards one another. Plant the feet on the floor. Take a moment to shift your hips a little bit towards the right side of your mat, and then allow both knees to come down on the left. You can leave your arms at your sides, or you can extend them out into a T shape. You can either look up towards the ceiling, or if you'd like to bring the twist into your neck, you can look over towards your right fingertips. Breathing in, feeling the upper body expand, maybe even feeling that right leg lift slightly on the inhale. As you exhale, draw the low belly in, let the legs get heavier. Allow your shoulders to melt down towards the ground. One more nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we'll bring the gaze and the knees back up to center, shifting the hips back towards the middle of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll shift the knees to the left and let the knees come down on the right. Again, the options are to leave your hands close to your body or to extend them out into a T or a cactus. Cactus would be bending at the elbows. And you can gaze straight up towards the ceiling, or you can turn your gaze towards the left side, facing towards your fingertips. Breathing in, slowly expanding the ribcage. Breathing out, finding softness, heaviness. One more deep breath in. On the exhale, bring the knees back to center, gaze back up to center, and shift the hips back towards the center of the mat. From here, you can leave your knees bent and rest your knees against one another, moving the feet a little bit wider. This is a great option if you have any tenderness in your low back. Or if you'd like, you can walk your heels out to the top corner of your mat, allowing your toes to rock open to the side. You can leave your arms out in a T, or you can bring them in closer towards your body. Drawing the shoulders down the back and gently tucking the chin. If you would prefer to finish class with a seated meditation, you can do that as well. Taking a moment to settle into whichever shape you'd prefer. Using any kind of props that you might want. Perhaps allowing your eyes to close or your gaze to soften downward. And just as we did at the beginning of the class, we'll take a moment to release the muscles of the face. Soften the jaw open, maybe allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. And each time we breathe in, maybe noticing a sense of lightness in the body. As the body fills up with air, brings fresh energy and oxygen. Maybe there's a sense of buoyancy, of lightness. And each time we exhale, releasing that air out. Maybe also releasing something that doesn't serve us, some tension, tightness. Finding a sense of grounding, a sense of support. Giving us the opportunity to find some ease. And to connect with the present moment. Really allowing ourselves to feel the breath. Feel where we are on the mat. Maybe noticing sensation throughout the body that has resulted from the practice. Most importantly, giving yourself the time to rest. And when you're ready, we'll start to invite some movement back into the body, gently wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, circling wrists and ankles, turning the head from side to side. And bringing the body back to stillness. If you are laying on your back, gathering your knees in towards your chest and rolling over onto one side of the body. knees closed. Be supporting your head with your lower arm. When you feel ready, make your way up to whatever seated position you prefer. Allowing yourself to ground through both sides of the body, finding equal weight through both hips and sitting up tall. Lengthen up through the crown of the head and soften the shoulders down. We'll bring our hands together in front of our hearts, sealing the outer edges of the palms and the tips of the fingers, leaving a small space between the centers of the palms. I'd like to thank you for joining me and allowing me to guide you through this practice. From the light that shines in me to the light that shines in you. Namaste.